Hey crafty friends, this is Julissa of Paper Gems by Jules, and today I'm sharing a holiday card featuring 3 of Unity Stamp Company's products. I am starting with the 8-in-1 Essential Masking Stencil, and this stencil is a large full sheet. It comes with 4 different shapes: an oval, circle, square, and a rectangle. And all of these shapes come with the masks that were cut out. So they have the pairing masks to match, and I'll be using both in this card. So I'm starting with some distress inks. This is Cracked Pistachio. The next is going to be Evergreen Bow, and then the last will be Black Soot to create this just a darker kind of shadowy look to it. Once we're done with the background, you'll see where I use the masking. But the papers on the bottom, so those ripped pieces of masking tape, that is to create some snowbanks. So you'll see that I'll pull it off once I finish the Black Soot shadow, and you see it's very, very subtle. I'm not trying to make this really dark. It's just to add a little bit of dimension, and you'll see how that comes to life once we do the masking and the exterior color. All right. So now I can pull off the masking tape. Oh, wait, before just clapping with some water to create a little bit more dimension that lifts some of the ink. So you'll see right there, I have a little bit of the first snowbank, and then I used another piece of scrap masking tape to do the second layer of the snowbank. But at this point, I realized that the bottom of the oval is completely missing because there's no ink. So you could use that if you have a bigger sentiment. If you want to leave that space blank, that's a great way to do it. If not, I just went back and used a little bit of the Cracked Pistachio on the bottom just to solidify the whole oval. From here, I am fielding where to put the trees. And these trees are from Pines of Endearment. That's the stamp set that I'm using next. So as many of you may know, Unity has been known for their red rubber stamps, and the quality of the red rubber is phenomenal, especially with the detailed stamp like these trees. But as you can see, I don't see through them. So I have to use this clear grid to make sure that when I stamp these trees that they hit the actual snowbanks properly. So this worked out. So we're just going to stamp those, and I'm using VersaFine Clear because it's a very crisp, bold black ink. Throwing in this other tree just to kind of keep it in odd numbers. And I mean, this alone looks great. Like, you could just finish here. If you want to put the sentiment in the oval, you can do that. Done and done. Super simple. But wait, there's more. So I'm pulling out 3 different shapes, 3 different sized snowflakes that are also in the Winter Hello, which is the second stamp set. But before I use that, I'm going to show you how the mask works. So I'm going to put the mask, the oval mask. I'm going to use some temporary tape to cover, and I'm going to add ink around the oval. So where everything is stark white, I'm just going to create a little bit of a gray glow or a shadow around this oval, and it's going to make that interior color pop. It is crazy. I've never done this before, but I saw something on another YouTube video because yes, crafters inspire other crafters. That's why we watch these videos. And I was kind of like, I wonder how this would work with the 8-in-1 Essential Masking. So here we are. So now I'm going to use Lost Shadow Distressing. And this is, is this his last one? No, this was the second to last one, I think. Either way. So it's a very, very, very subtle gray. My favorite is the oxide version, but I'm using the distress ink, and I should have went a little bit gentler. I was a little regretful when I did this, but I think it comes out pretty amazing. Like, that just looks super cool. It makes it look like you've added foam tape behind the oval, but you haven't. Okay. Back to the stamping. I'm using the largest stamp with an Evergreen Bow archival. Some of you may ask, well, why not just use the Distress ink? Distress ink isn't really made to stamp with. It's not the best ink to stamp with. So archival ink is made to stamp. So I'm using it in two different ways. So I'm using it solid, from ink to pad, ink to paper rather. And then I'm doing second generation stamping. If you're not familiar, second generation stamping is when you ink up your stamp, you stamp it off on some scrap paper, and then you stamp it on your intended piece. So by doing that, you lighten the color, but it keeps it in the same realm of color, if that makes sense. So I'm done using the evergreen bow. I'm going to bring in a light gray archival ink just to kind of keep with the themes of this greens and gray, I guess, and black type. So I'm going to just fill in some of the blanks with this gray stamp. Super, super simple. And I'm going diagonally. I am going outside of the oval and inside of the oval, and just kind of keeping that line. But you'll see where the deer comes into play, which is such a beautiful deer. It's so detailed. So for the deer, once we get into that, almost done with the stamps. I can't get it out. I think it just looks so cool. I'm so excited. Just got to peel it off here, and it's always good to peel it in reverse so that way it doesn't bend your card front. All right, so now that portion's done. Let's get on with the deer. So I'm using some scraps. I'm going to stamp with a Copic friendly ink, and then I'm going to use some Copics. So the 4 colors that I'm going to use with this deer are E27, E25, E23, and that's for the body. And then the antlers, I am using E55. I am coloring it in my Misty for a reason. At the end of the coloring, you'll see why. So I'm going to let you enjoy this for a few seconds, and then we'll come back and I'll explain to you the crazy thing that I do when I'm doing cards like this. Hold on. Okay, so I'm just using that E55 to blend things in, just final touches. But before I pull this out and fussy cut it, VersaFine Clear just gives it a bold black look. But you have to do it afterwards because it's not a Copic friendly ink, and you have to be really, really careful and really hopeful that it does not, your paper doesn't move, and that you don't mess up all the effort that you made in coloring it. High risk crafting. That's what I'm doing right here. It's just crazy. I'm getting wild. Anyway, foam tape. I fussy cut foam tape, and boom, bow. This is this beautiful deer. I've already stamped the sentiment, but it really, really looks like that oval is popped up. Isn't that cool? All right, so we added a little white paint. I'm going to stack it on some pieces of cardstock. One that is like a charcoal gray, another one that's a really, really light gray, kind of like that Lost Shadow. And then I'm put this on the card front, and we're pretty much done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some inspiration. If you have any questions, please, please, please consider commenting below, and I'll be happy to answer. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much, and happy crafting.